Hey guys, uh, I just got back from pre-release. I went 2-1. I won some packs. I played Abzan. The Abzan clan is an absolute destructive force. If you like playing slivers, you'll probably like playing Abzan. It's a very good clan. If you get the Falconer or any of the creatures that give all your creatures bonuses, the Death Toucher, the Falconer. The Falconer is just a house. He's a ridiculously good card. But I had a lot of fun. Like I said, I went Abzan. I won 2-1. The top players were Mardu and Abzan, and the other Abzan deck that I ended up playing and losing to, he ended up winning the whole thing. I beat Jeskai, lost to another Abzan deck, and then I beat Teamer. So I won a couple packs. So today we're gonna open up a booster pack of Khans of Tarkir. And I may take my time with this one because this is the first pack I've opened, and I kind of want to take my time and kind of look at all the cards. So we have Treasure Cruise. It's a sorcery with Delve. It says draw 3 cards. The Delve cards are very expensive, but hey, I think this card is gonna be played in some decks. Mardu War Shrieker. It has Raid. When Mardu War Shrieker enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, add red, white, and black mana to your mana pool. It's a 3/3 for 4 mana. That's pretty good. We have Erase. Not particularly exciting. Taigam Scheming. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest back on top of your library in any order. It's a Delve, or it's a Jeskai card. It's a Sultai card, I'm sorry. Hooting Mandrills. This one has Delve, 6 mana, with Trample. It's a 4/4 with Trample. Disowned Ancestor. The other Abzan deck that I played said that even though I lost, I showed him some interesting interactions. He thought Disowned Ancestor wasn't a particularly good card, but I sort of proved him wrong because I played Disowned Ancestor as a decent 1-drop that can block. At least that's what I thought, and it can outlast, so it's possible to get a little bit stronger. But when you pair it up with the Death Touch Abzan creature that gives all your creatures with a +1/+1 counter Death Touch, you basically have a 1/4 or a 2/6, a 1/5 or a 2/6 eventually with Death Touch, and that's a very good combination. The Disowned Ancestor didn't do a whole lot for me, and that may have been because it was in his deck, but it certainly held off some creatures for a while. So while I ended up not liking the card as much as I thought I would, I think it's still a little bit. This card definitely gets better the more Outlast creatures you have that can give it bonuses. Outside of that, it's not the best 1-drop, but if you pull it in your Absent deck and you have the Falconer or the Death Touch or even Lifelink, go ahead and play it. If you play it on turn 1 and then Outlast it on turn 2, maybe Outlast it on turn 3, you got a 2/6 blocker on turn 3. That's pretty good. That's hard to beat. We have Shambling Attendants. I had this card, thought about playing it, but kind of glad I didn't because I didn't end up with a whole lot of cards in my graveyard to cast it. It has Delve and Death Touch, but it's 8 mana and a 3/5. So we have a dual land. We have a Swiftwater Cliffs. It enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, you gain 1 life, and you can tap it for blue or red mana. It's pretty cool. We have a Tusked Colossadon. I love the art on this. It's so big. This is a green creature. 6 mana for 2 with 2 green. It's basically just a big dumb creature. 6/5 for 6. Abzan Guide. This is a card that I thought was going to do a little bit more for me than what it did. It's a 4/4 with lifelink, and it has Morph. Morph is very big in the format, guys. The more Morph creatures you have, the better. It allows you to almost always have plays. You can always, no matter what the creature, how big it is, you can always cast it as a 2/2 for 3 mana, no matter what colors you're in. The more Morph creatures you have in your deck, the better, period. If you have the chance to play a Morph creature or a non-Morph creature, depending on what the creatures are, obviously, the more Morph you have, the better. It's a very powerful mechanic. You really have to get used to it. You really have to know it if you want to do good. use Morph. Absent Guide, it has Morph. Like I said, you can play it as a 2/2 for 3, and then you can flip it over for 5 mana with 1 white, 1 black, and 1 green. It's a 4/4 with lifelink. If you find a way to put counters on it, again with the Falconer, then you got a 4/4 or 5/5 flying lifelinker, which is pretty powerful. Unfortunately, in the pre-release, it didn't do much for me. Our first uncommon is Master of the Way. Master the Way, I'm sorry. It's a sorcery, not a creature. So it says, draw a card. Master the Way deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. It's 5 mana, which is pretty expensive, but it seems pretty powerful, and especially when you can combine it with the Jeskai Prowess ability, you could be doing a lot of damage in a turn with this. This is a card I wish I would have gotten in my pack, but I didn't. Swarm of Bloodflies. It's 5 mana. It's a 0/0 flying creature, and it has Swarm of Bloodflies enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it, so it's effectively a 2/2. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Swarm of Bloodflies. I didn't pull a con. My promo card, unfortunately, was Doomblast. If I had a Swarm of Bloodflies, and then I had a Doomblast, and let's just say I picked Swarm of Bloodflies to win, and then Doom Blasted 4 of my creatures and 4 of my opponent's creatures, all of a sudden my Swarm of Bloodflies is essentially, well, it says whenever another creature dies. So unfortunately, I'm not sure if that would become a 10/10 at that point, or if it would just be a 1/1. But either way, Swarm of Bloodflies it would be a really good card in Sealed, or probably even in Draft, and I would rate it very highly. If you get Swarm of Bloodflies and you're playing black, or you have the ability to play black, I would suggest that you do it. We have Nomad Outpost. It's not particularly exciting. Enters tapped, but it gives you red, white, or black. And our rare is Windswept Heath. I don't know. I'm kidding. Yeah, this is a great card. Windswept Heath. Pay 1 life, sacrifice Windswept Heath, search your library for a forest or plains card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So I think I'm going to have good luck, guys. The very first pack of Khans of Tarkir that I opened, I get a fetch land, and I get it in colors that I play, green and white. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to be very careful with that card. In my pre-release pack, I opened Sarkhan, and I opened a Flooded Strand. So I have 2 fetch lands so far. So I'm very, very happy with that. Okay, then we have a Mountain, one of my favorite cards to play, and we have a Spirit. Look at the Spirit art on this. This is really cool. This is very, very cool. The Abzan have Spirit trees that they are ghosts that are tied to Spirit trees or Spirit trees. The new Spirit art, it's a 1/1 flyer, but man, that art is awesome. That is an awesome looking token. I'm very glad I got that. It's just a token. I feel stupid for saying it, but I almost want to put that in a binder. I really like that card. That's a pretty card. Awesome. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna cut it off here, but I'm happy that we got a fetch land, our very first pack. I think that's gonna bode well. I think that's a good omen. I have several boxes of Khans of Tarkir that I'm going to look forward to opening on camera, so hopefully I get just as lucky. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about how the pre-release went or how my pre-release went, PM me, leave them in the comments, whatever you want. I'll try to answer all that I can. I'm not the best player, but I did okay. So, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.